You know, when you see what is happening at the box office today, there are films that go and collect 1,000 crore, and there are films that just don't find any audience. Is this worrying for an actor? How does an actor see what's happening?
I think it is quite worrying in the sense that because you don't understand, like there is no way to sort of be like, ये कैसे हो रहा है? What is the logic behind it? What is the criteria behind any of this? Right?
You know, say when I come to your house and I tell you, hey, I just saw a very good film, but there was nobody in the theater. That must be worrying for the producer in you.
It is, dude. It is. It's like, okay, so like, I mean, we want to tell ourselves that good content is what matters and, you know, should matter and all of that.
Are OTTs also the new bullies in the market?
Yeah, I mean, they are the bulls, like they are controlling the market. Hi everyone, I'm Kirti Kulhari and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.
Kirti, welcome to Bollywood Hangama. Seeing you
Rohit.
after a long time.
After a year.
After a year.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
I have been up to, I was shooting for a couple of films, which one of which is releasing now, Khichdi. And there's another film called Hisab Barabar, which is with Madhavan, and it'll be maybe in the next couple of months.
Okay.
And I have been chasing my new dream of producing.
Yes.
So that's really taking a lot of my time because as an actor I'm not doing much, like I don't do that much work, but I still don't seem to have the time for myself. You know, I really miss those times when I would shoot and then I would just travel and, you know, have a lot of me time. But now I think this whole producing thing has really added a lot on my plate, which I know is not visible to the world yet.
So, you know, there's less of acting happening from what I can see. Is that, you know, everybody says OTT aa gaya hai, so the actors have so much work. Is it really true that there are good lucrative, you know, meaty offers, or you're doing less because there aren't that many good offers?
It's a combination of both. I feel that personally, for me, there's a lot out there, yes. But I think, you know, to each his own. I think we all, as actors and in other areas, find the kind of work that works for us for whatever reasons. You know, sometimes you are really driven by a role. Sometimes you are fascinated by the team that's coming together. Sometimes it's the money that is very attractive. So people are doing their thing for different reasons. But for me, I think there are two things happening. I feel that for me, it's what I do next has to be bigger and better than what I did earlier, right? So for me to find a combination of something that justifies my time and energy and what I bring to a role, I think I'm not I mean, for me, it all has to come together. It has to be a combination of great role and great people I'm working with and good monies. So I think for me to find this combination is a little tricky. So while, as you say, yes, there's a lot of work happening, but I also feel that when there's a lot happening, the quality is something that gets ignored a lot of times, and I do see that happening. That's my personal opinion. So I don't want to be a part of the crowd. I want to every time I do something, I want to stand out in my own way through the journey of doing that thing, and of course how it eventually turns out. So yeah,
right. You know, whenever actors turn to production, my first question is why. You know, you have the option of being on camera, coming on set, doing your thing and leaving. Taking this whole headache also, if I may call it.
Yeah, it is a headache.
Yeah, so why for you? Like, you know, there are two reasons. One, people want to make money. Do you want to cash in and just make a lot of money from your production? Or like you said, I want quality control and I can do that.
I would love to make a lot of money, but personally speaking, that money is a little थोड़ी दूर है अभी वो. I think right now I'm just so 2 years back when I decided to sort of turn a producer, I think one of the things that I had reached a point where I was like, ठीक है, acting तो हो रही है, कर रहे हैं, but what's after this?
Yeah.
You know, how can I sort of engage myself in something which keeps me excited, which keeps me feeling that, you know, I'm doing something of value, you know. And of course I love cinema, I love filmmaking. So I think the idea of turning a producer came from this, that I want to do more.
Okay.
And yes, I want to have complete control over the product that comes out, because as an actor you can only do so much. And so yeah, a sense of wanting to control the quality of what's being churned out was a major factor in terms of deciding to do this. And yes, as you said, it is a lot of headache. And but जितना भी मैंने पिछले दो साल में सीखा है, मैं जितना समझ रही हूँ, I was on the verge of independently producing a film this year, which you know, we went a little ahead with that, and then I realized that creatively me and my director are not on the same page, and we are not able to be. So then I backed out. But otherwise I was like,
ready to do
this shit, I'm going to do it myself. You know, one of the first things everyone tells you when you tell them you've turned a producer, they're like, apna paisa mat lagana.
Yeah, that is the advice.
Yeah, that's like the quintessential advice you get from everybody.
Have you taken that advice?
No, clearly I didn't. I was ready to, you know, put my own money and be like, I'll do my thing, because I'm like, how is it okay to put somebody else's money in something that you believe?
Right.
And not back it up yourself with your own money.
Right.
How is somebody else's money different from your money?
Right.
Because answerability to dono mein honi chahiye na. I mean, so I think I clearly ignored that advice, and I was on my way to, you know, doing that. But I won't say better sense prevailed, but it wasn't meant to be at this point of time.
Right.
But I think I'm very open to the idea of doing this myself. And I'm loving, I was also EPing that project I was doing, and then I EP'd another project for a friend for a bit when he was in a bit of a mess. And I was like, this is so much fun. This is, it's just making me look at everything so differently, you know. And now as a producer, now as an, you know, EP who's like, figuring out budgets for everyone, ये इतने में होना चाहिए, ये यहाँ पे ऐसे होगा. Now as an actor, I'm like, I think I've become like a little more flexible, and I'm like, I get it.
So newfound respect for producers.
Yes. All you producers listening out there, yeah.
Should a producer listen to their heart or their mind?
I think both.
Okay.
You know, it's, I was sharing this with somebody that earlier I used to completely and very conveniently ignore the business aspect of it.
Right.
कि ये क्या होता है, you know, मैं तो इतनी अच्छी एक्टर हूँ, मैं तो ये कर सकती हूँ, वो कर सकती हूँ. What is this कि मुझ पे इतना पैसा नहीं लग सकता, या मैं I can't carry a film at the box office or whatever. I used to take all that very personally, right? But today, now sitting on this other side, when I'm looking at the market, I'm looking at how things are done, I can totally be driven by my heart when it comes to choosing a subject and, you know, wanting it to make it the way I want to make it, making it with the people I want to make it with. I think that's a very heart decision. But I think I cannot ignore the fact that I have to look at where is this film going to take me? How am I going to recover whatever money that is being put into it? So I am suddenly very open to the idea of the business aspect of it. So I think it's a combination of both. Filmmaking is, there is a creative aspect to it and there is a business aspect to it, and both the heart and the mind. So it's a combination of both, and a lot of trouble can also happen if गलती से आपने इसको यहाँ use कर दिया और उसको वहाँ use कर दिया. So yeah.
Right. This is the early stage of you being a producer. Eventually, what do you want to do? Will you produce movies in which we'll see you only, or you would like to just become a producer and cast other people? And
no, so the idea was never about कि मैं ही कि, you know, that typically an idea of कि अच्छा मुझे और कोई काम नहीं दे रहा है तो I'll create my own work. It wasn't that. But it just so happens right now that because I'm starting, and because I'm trying to keep the budgets to a certain level, it's just more lucrative that I come on board as an actor, and so a lot of that gets taken care of. And of course, I am a good actor. Of course, I'm able to. People do want to work with me. So I am. This is just a stepping stone to me reaching a point where it's even today it's open for everybody.
Right.
It's not just about me.
Right.
You know. Practically, you know, it's just happening that it's looking like it's about me, but no, it's the whole point is to have it for everyone else.
Right.
So yeah, that's the plan.
Right. You know, talking about acting, what will be the next release? Where will we see you first?
Khichdi is coming now,
yeah, saw the song,
which is 17th of November. Then there's a film called Hisab Barabar with Madhavan. It's a film for Jio, which is again a comedy film. And there's a film called Naika, which I did last year, which is something that will be out soon.
Okay.
So these 2-3 films, you will see me soon enough.
Right.
And then, of course, I have a lot of things in planning for the coming year, which I haven't started shooting for yet. But there are a lot of interesting projects that are coming to me, and that will fall in place.
Right. You know, when you see what is happening at the box office today, there are films that go and collect 1,000 crore, and there are films that just don't find any audience.
Yeah.
Is this worrying for an actor? How does an actor see what's happening?
I think it is quite worrying in the sense that because you don't understand, like there is no way to sort of be like, ये कैसे हो रहा है?
Yeah.
What is the logic behind it? What is the criteria behind any of this, right? So it's a little bit of it shakes you up in a way कि क्या करें, कैसे करें, किस तरह की फिल्में करें, किस तरह के subjects choose करें. It's not the most settling feeling as an actor, or I would say as a producer as
right,
well,
yeah,
because आपको सच में नहीं पता कि the market is so volatile, the market is so unpredictable and uncertain कि you are not able to put your head around it. So I think it's a little bit of a tricky thing.
Right, you know, say when I come to your house and I tell you, hey, I just saw a very good film, but there was nobody in the theater.
Yeah.
That must be worrying for the producer in you.
It is, dude. It is. It's like, okay, so like, I mean, we want to tell ourselves that good content is what matters and, you know, should matter and all of that. But clearly, I think there is more to it, more to it than just good content, which I would also believe is marketing. You know, how the positioning of a film is sort of done before it comes out.
Right.
How is it reaching the audience? How is that information being received by an audience as well? The perception that's being created. So I think it's a combination of a few things. And having said that, even if you checked your list and be like, ye bhi kar diya, ye bhi kar diya, ye bhi kar diya, you really still don't know what it's going to be.
Right.
So I personally feel that film industry has always been a very uncertain market. Sometimes we believe कि हमें पता है कि क्या हो रहा है, but I don't think that's ever the case because it's just so random and it's just so. And I also feel that honestly every film has its destiny.
Right.
आपने बहुत खूबसूरत फिल्म बनाई होगी, बहुत प्यार से बनाई होगी, but you never know. I mean, so it's a combination of things that I believe in. But having said that, the point is to go back to what can you really control.
Right.
You can just control the kind of film you're making, the kind of product you are creating, how probably you're marketing it, how it's reaching out to people. Eventually क्या होगा उसका result, I think it's something not in anybody's control, and I like to, I won't say ignore what's not in my control, but focus on what's in my control.
Right. So is OTT going to be the savior for producers like you?
I hope so. I mean, I think there was a point that I was believing that they are, but in the last 2 years, I have seen a lot of uncertainty even on OTTs, you know, in terms of their policies changing and how, you know, this whole theatrical thing that you have to put your film out there. it's like you're defeating the whole purpose of to put a film out there, even if it's just for the sake of it. It still requires monetarily it requires a lot out of somebody who's doing a small film to begin with. So there are a lot of things changing, and there are sometimes people say, oh, it's a good time and you can approach this and approach that, and sometimes the next day the same people will be like, no, right now they are not open to it. So it's like, what is going on? So it's honestly, I don't know what is going on. So I will just go back to doing things my way and seeing how it goes. But having said that, Rohit, like this year I was at the European Film Market, at the Berlin Film Festival.
Right.
I went in as a producer, and I wanted to understand ki kya ho raha hai, like outside of this bubble called Bollywood, what is actually happening, you know? If as a producer I do make something which I feel has an international appeal, which I want my films to be.
Right.
I want to make films for people here and also for people internationally.
Right.
So I don't know, for some reason the Berlin Film Festival, the market gave me a lot of confidence in terms of there is a market globally that you can sort of reach out to and access if you have something, you know. So I think that has become a little, that has opened up, that's given me confidence actually. Ki mujhe, I don't have to be limited to just the workings of our industry. As I said, jo yahan ke ups and downs hai, they don't always have to dictate in terms of what do I do, what should be my next step. You know, you can still explore. So I think I'm kind of also banking on that a lot.
Right.
But let's see.
What did you learn that gave you the confidence? This you're talking
so
about theatrical abroad, right?
No, I'm talking about the whole festival space. Of course, there are films which go to in festivals and all of that, get screened there and all of that. But there's a whole market there, which is the sales and distribution market. So basically, there are sales and distribution companies from all across the globe, different countries, which come to buy films. So you might have a film that excites them. You know, it may not be, your film may not be very welcomed back home in your own country, but then there are people out there who might find it appealing, right? So you can reach out to them, you can connect with them, and you can sell your film. So आपकी अगर एक फिल्म 5 करोड़ में बनी है, तो आप ये छोटे sales and distribution pockets लेके, you can recover a lot of that money that you've already put in. And then of course you come back home and you do what you do back home. So that's the sales and distribution network that's sort of set up globally is something that made me feel that there are ways to do this.
Right. You know, if you said if you want to make content for Indian audience also and international, then doesn't Netflix, Amazon solve your problem by just putting it out there and the world audience just sees it in one shot?
They do in a certain way, but then also with the Netflix and Amazon, it's not the easiest to get through, and it's easiest to, you know, they have their own process, they have their own timelines, they have their own pace of doing things, and sometimes that pace may not work with yours, you know, sometimes you are making a small film which for them may not even be like, they may not even want to consider it because it's such a small film. Like they also have their brackets of ki ye hamare liye chota hai. Sometimes you want to make a film which is smaller than that because you have an investor, you have the money, and you want to just go ahead and make it. Right? So yes, I mean, it's not as black and white as internationally जाना है तो Amazon, Netflix है ना. I mean, it's a little more complicated than that, and sometimes what you also the independence of making a film your way, right? I think that's something again people fight for a lot. Ki the moment if I'm doing my own thing, I can do it my way. But the moment I have a bigger studio coming on board and, you know, telling me that we take over, then they take over. Then a lot of things will happen as per their understanding. So it's you have to, like, I think, maneuver through individual films, like there are some films I will want to go straight to a studio and be like, ये तो मैं studio के through ही करूँगी, no matter what the price is. But then there are other projects which I'm like, can I do this myself? Can I, get a couple of people together and can we do this ourselves and figure this out and figure that out? So I think it's from project to project how you sort of wish to do it.
Right. From what you're hearing from your friends, and you must have spoken to a lot of people before entering production. Are OTTs also the new?
Actually, I spoke to a lot of people after entering production.
Okay. So what they told you, are OTTs also the new bullies in the market? Because they will tell you, go release it, do a small release, promote it, spend money on your own, and then come to us. But then, if your film has not done well at the theaters, then your price has also gone down.
Yeah.
What is
I think yeah. I mean, they are the bulls, right? They are controlling the market, right? And I can take that personally, as I said earlier, or I can be like, that's how it is right now. They do have an upper hand, and anybody who has an upper hand, it's a power game. Whoever is in a more powerful position will try and control the market, and which is what they are doing at the moment.
Right. You said earlier a film will eventually find its audience, which is true. Again,
or sometimes no audience.
Sometimes no audience. But the thing is, eventually,
it's scary.
Say for example, a Chandigarh Kare Aashiki, which released in the theatre and didn't do that well, but the day it dropped on OTT, everybody is trending. People are like, "What a great film!" But nobody went for that. Went to buy a ticket for that, and that's happening to so many releases. Knowing all this, you have turned a producer, so hats off to you. You still believe films will find their audience?
I really believe that. I really believe that. I think, and you know what? I feel that like acting and like anything else, it's not a game of one film or two films. You have to be here for the longer game. And the longer game is where things get balanced. You might have your first film doing well, second film may not do so well, and the third film again becomes a blockbuster. So it has to be a longer game, right? So my only ambition would be that I hope I'm able to play the longer game.
Right.
Because एक film में दो film में आप नहीं decide कर सकते. Like everyone needs more chances. Like an actor needs more chances. आपने एक film में उनको reject कर दिया, दूसरी film उनकी बहुत hit हो गई. So the uncertainty of how a film does at the box office or how people receive it is something that you have to embrace, and you have to just be sure of the game you want to play. So I think I'm here for the longer game, and I think patience is the key.
Right. Was there someone who told you don't do this, and what did you tell them?
Of course. There are always people who tell you don't do this. I listen to people. I don't disregard and be like, no, of course I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But in my heart, I know I will do what I. Now I just don't say it aloud.
Right.
I listen to what people have to say. I'm listening to people. I think last 2 years I've been listening to a lot of people and the advices they are giving you, which are also very often very contradictory as well. And so you're like, by the end of it, you're like, okay, is this true or is this true?
Right.
But I think the point is about you being clear. Once you have the clarity, you just wait for the right time to hit the hammer when the iron is hot.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just waiting for the iron to be hot, and my hammer is pretty much ready.
Right. This was the producer part of you. There is an actor part of you. While you'll get busy in this, and this will take most of your time, how will an actor like you better your craft? Will you watch a lot of things? Will you go and enjoy? How does one update? You said in the interview earlier that you are a good actor, and I also believe that. But how does one raise the bar when you're entering a business and this becomes your business?
Yeah, I mean, you have to of course draw a line in terms of how much time you dedicate to this and how much time you dedicate to your other craft, which is acting for me. But I think I've come to a point, Rohit, where I think, growing as an actor through life, So for me now, acting is not about taking time off, and like I travel a lot. I think one thing I've been able to achieve in my life is the work-life balance, and I'm never consumed by work so much that I don't take the time off to smell the coffee, you know. I always, that's something that's just become my life. And I think that's where my craft as an actor, my understanding as a human being, my understanding as a creative person or an artist keeps increasing, because I am in touch with life day in, day out. Right. You know, I'm looking at life from a lens that I think not many people do. So, and I'm realizing this, that the idea of, oh, I have to keep working on my craft, I have to keep getting better at my craft, is kind of dropping from me. Okay. Because as I said, I mean, I feel that naturally it's all happening around me. Like, you know, I am in touch with life from moment to moment, and I think that's the most, I think that's what makes you rich as an artist. Yeah. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, travel is a great teacher, and it's teaching you personally as well. What kind of a traveler are you?
I'm a solo traveler. Okay. Like I love my own company. Okay. I'm a very spontaneous traveler. I don't plan too much, except for, of course, my tickets and my visa and my stays or whatever. But what I do in the day is something which is like, it's almost like I'm living in that city or that area. How would I be if I was living there? I would probably just wake up at the time I want to, you know, have a coffee, step out, go to a cafe, maybe just, you know, grab some food somewhere, walk around, sit down at a park, shop something. So I'm very like on the go kind of a traveler. For some reason, I won't say I hate doing tourist spots, but I do have this aversion to be like, wahan zarur jana. You know, that is like the spot. And I'm like, if it works out in my day, in my itinerary, I will go. I'm not opposed to that, but I'm not going ki wahan jaake photo khichaunge, and I'm like, guys, I'm here. It's so personal for me. Like, travel is so intimate and so personal for me that it's not about what the world is seeing of it. It's about what I'm experiencing. And I think the idea is to, I'm not even much of a, you know, talker on when I'm traveling. Ki koi mil gaya, and of course mil gaya, baatein ho gayi. But I am not too much in the mood for conversations, and, you know, for me it's very internal. For me it's about going within. My travel is about going within and just being with myself, being with the, you know, with silence. So yeah, that's the kind of traveler.
Were you always this kind of traveler, or this life made you this kind of traveler?
I think I got exposed to traveling through my ex-husband. Right. I mean, that's one thing that he really, really introduced me to. And of course, he was my companion in traveling for a long time. Okay. But I think, so I think the way I travel now, a part of it was the way I used to travel with him. But I think this idea of being alone and being solo is something that obviously has happened over the last few years. Okay. And I've realized that, I mean, I don't know if I was always that kind of a traveler, but I did have a companion to travel with. Earlier. But I think now...
But before that, as kids...
Before that, I mean, we used to travel with families, and the only travel we did was to my village in Rajasthan in the heat, May and June, because that's when the chuttis used to be. So it wasn't much of a travel. I used to travel to my sister who was in the army. So she was posted at these beautiful places. So I akeli jati thi unke paas. But that was again family, but I would still have my own me time. Right. So I think the me time thing has been very important in my life for the last 10, 12, 15 years. Right. And I think I'm becoming more and more of a solo... Just a solo person. You know?
Yeah. One doesn't need anyone. You know, talking about you became a solo traveler. Is solo traveling for everyone, you feel? Do you think?
I don't know if it's for everyone, but everyone should explore it. Okay. Everyone should really, really learn to be with themselves. You don't even have to travel for it. You could be at your house, but you could be just by yourself. I think in general people are just so scared. I don't know, people don't like themselves. Their own company is something that people, and that's, I think, because of a lack of self-love. It's a lack of being comfortable with your own self, you know, being accepting of your own self. You always want another to make you feel better, to validate you, to give you attention, to make you feel loved. So it all, I think, arises from that. So I really recommend that if there's one person you should really fall in love with or be friends with, it should be you.
Yourself, you know? Right. You know, and then there's travel and social media go hand in hand.
Yeah.
For you as well?
I am so bad at keeping people updated of my travels. It's like, I don't even like taking pictures, okay? For me, it's like, if I'm in this moment and I'm looking at, say, a sunset, right? I want to look at that sunset. I don't want to take my fucking phone, my phone out and take a picture of it to be able to post it.
Okay.
If it happens in the moment, it's okay. But I can't take pictures, and I hate stopping people when I'm traveling alone and be like, "Meri photo le, can you just take a picture of mine?" I hate that. So I don't end up taking too many pictures, but sometimes there is a little pressure of कि कुछ तो photos भेज दो यार, कुछ तो कर दो. So I make a little effort, but I think I really suck at it.
Right. And you know, the people who are taking pictures, they'll always, a video of a sunset, they'll say, some will say they are taking it to keep it forever. That you agree with that?
Yeah. People say that. It's like, it's forever, you know. I will someday look back at it and remember. I'm like, if you can totally be present in this moment, you will not need to take a picture.
Right.
And you will remember this forever. It will be like etched in your memory. So yeah, people do make that excuse of. And then, you know, how many people go back to looking at a picture of a sunset on their phone?
Right.
Nobody does that. It's a lie.
It's a lie. And is social media also business? For actors, it has become.
Oh, yes. I think it very much is. And when people like me are not doing too much work as an actor, then social media pays our bills. So I'm here for the business.
The way you're living, you know, you've been an independent person, and I hope your production plunge pays off. So best of luck for that.
I hope so too. Yeah. Thank you, Rohit. Thank you so much for doing it. Hi everyone, I'm Kirti Kulhari and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.